I crashed face first into water. My designer suit was drenched. My phone was dead. My pride? Wounded but unbroken. Laughter exploded around me like a secret finally unleashed. Champagne glasses chimed together. Someone whistled. Above me, dripping wet, I looked up and saw her, my wife, standing by the fountain with her arms crossed, venom dripping from her words. "You're not my husband anymore," she shouted, loud enough for everyone to hear. Then, twisting the knife deeper, she spat, "He's lucky we even let him inside." The crowd erupted in applause. Even our daughter didn't flinch. Her diamond engagement ring caught the sunlight, shining like a dagger. I rose, water streaming down my clothes. I gave one small, cold smile and said, "Remember this moment." 3 minutes later, my lawyer arrived, custom-tailored suit, leather folder in hand. Security close behind. The applause died instantly. She used to call me her rock. I believed it for 27 years. I built her business from nothing, paid for her father's chemo treatments, took in her mother when dementia took hold. I buried her brother after his overdose, holding her as she broke down in tears, real tears. There was love once, I'm sure of it, but love doesn't disappear overnight. It fades silently, like rust corroding the hinges of a door you no longer open. The changes began subtly. Late nights, whispered phone calls, locked screens, laughter that stopped when I walked in. Then came the financial drain. Joint accounts emptied. Business expenses turned into lavish indulgences. Spa retreats, luxury handbags, phantom investments. I saw our daughter's tuition fund nearly gone. But it wasn't the money that shattered me. It was coming home and hearing her say, "I've outgrown him." She didn't realize I was just outside the door. She didn't care. I held back confrontation. Emotions are loud. Revenge is silent. I played the part, the devoted husband, the loving father, the harmless background figure. Meanwhile, I collected evidence. A forensic accountant, a discreet private investigator, and a top-tier divorce lawyer who didn't advertise on billboards, all hired quietly. Over 6 months, we followed every missing dollar, uncovered messages to her life coach, who turned out to be a married fitness instructor from Miami. Better yet, she'd mixed business and personal funds. Fraud. The house? Always in my name. She never bothered to check the deed, but I waited. I wanted one final spectacle, a perfect moment of arrogance. It didn't take long. The engagement party was her idea, our gift to our daughter. She claimed all the praise. I covered the expenses. The venue belonged to a friend. The caterer was my cousin's company. Every detail carefully arranged. She thought she controlled the story until she shoved me into the fountain. As I stood there, soaked in calm, I caught the smirk on her face. That smugness born from years of unchecked cruelty. I said, "Remember this moment." Then the lawyer made his entrance. Cinematic, deliberate, no wasted movement. He handed her a thick envelope. "Mrs. Ansley," he said, "you've been served." She blinked, laughed as if it were a joke, until she opened it. Divorce papers, fraud charges, cease and desist orders, an emergency motion to freeze assets. "I suggest you stop smiling," my lawyer added. "You're being evicted from this property tonight." Gasps rose from the crowd. The music stopped unnoticed. Her makeup smeared. Her lips trembled. Denial flooded her eyes. "I own half of this," she insisted. "No," I interrupted. "You used to. You signed over the deed 3 years ago when you leased your yoga studio. Forgot that?" I turned to the guests. They laughed, clapped, and watched her humiliation. The silence that followed was like a holy hush. Our daughter stepped forward, confused. "Dad, what's going on?" "I'm sorry," I said gently, "but your mother made her choices, and I shielded you from the truth. Check your tuition fund," I added. She pulled out her phone and froze. Tears filled her eyes. "What did you do?" she whispered to her mother. "I needed it. For us," my wife stammered. "For him," our daughter snapped, holding up a photo. My efforts were exposed. A picture of her kissing the life coach in a hotel parking lot. People began leaving. Some avoided my gaze. Others looked unashamed. My wife collapsed onto grass. She fought back, counter lawsuits, media pleas, claims of emotional abuse and financial coercion, invisible wounds. But the evidence was unyielding. The judge ruled completely in my favor. She lost the house, her business, and her reputation. I let her keep the car. Call it mercy or irony. My daughter and I talk more now. Not about everything. Some wounds still pulse beneath the surface. But she knows the truth, and that's enough. People ask if I miss my wife. I tell them no. I miss who she pretended to be, not who she actually was. I still remember the fountain, the water, the laughter, the moment they thought I was finished. They forgot. Some of us sink silently only to rise colder, dragging others down with us. Remember that.